don't know what it was, but I refreshed the screen and it came back.
So,
Oh,
so
it's doing it again.
yeah,
It gets going for a few seconds and then it.
yeah. Let's just start it again. Let me see if that works. Okay. All right. Good morning, guys. Welcome to the pre-market show. I hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hope you had a great day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How are you doing today?
Hey, good morning, buddy. I'm doing great. Hopefully you are as well.
All right. Yes, I am ready to rock and roll this Wednesday morning. So let's look at what we had yesterday on our list. We had Apple starting out with first one on our gappers list yesterday. It was very active. Oops, excuse me. Very active on the pre-market. I mean, we had on it, I think it was like 3 million shares. It went all the way up to four. Don't recall if we hit five, but I know it's pretty high in the pre-market. Very, very active. And you can see the pre-market action here. It's just amazing. At the open, guys, did not expect this. And it's just a crazy drop right out of the gates. This is a 5 minute candle here. You can see how big this drop was, going from 125 all the way down to 122. So again, a pretty significant drop there going into their event
Brutal.
yesterday.
If
It
you're
was just
along.
brutal. It was a brutal drop. It really was. I mean, it's only $4. I think it is. Was $4 drop? No, almost $3. That's a big drop for a stock like this one. And I avoided taking the short because I just did not believe this thing was going to sell off that much. I thought I was waiting for actual bounce that never came. But yeah, a
I
big
think a
drop.
lot of us thought this was going to be strong,
Oh
continued
yeah,
after the day before. Even
yeah.
though, and we talked about it, and Andrew talked about it, Brian talked about it,
Hmm.
that a lot of times it has a run up into the event and then it sells off. A lot of times it sells off after the event, not
Right.
going right into it. So it was a little bit of a weird scenario. Andrew, as I'm sure everybody in the room knows, I don't know about YouTube yet, had his biggest loss of his career on this,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, and of his trading career on this. At one point, he was down like 45 grand, I think.
Hmm.
He sent out an email last night. Yeah, we can forget about Yelp. This was what, 5 times larger than that. So I guess
Yeah.
every 2 years it grows by 5 times. It's kind of like his P&L too. So, but regardless of that, he sent out an email. There's an email that went out last night that Andrew described what happened, sent out charts and everything else in an effort to try to help everybody else learn from his mistake on that.
Yeah,
So
yeah, absolutely. And again, it's somewhat
he made back about half of it, I
yeah,
believe,
he made some
in
back on
that
it. Yeah.
neighborhood. So
Yeah, but it's kind of similar to Yelp. Again, he's trading larger size now as he's developing as a trader. So you had 7,000 back at that time. We all remember that day. And again, it's just as he's increasing, some of the losses can be bigger too, as well as the wins. So, but yeah, it just
yep.
tells you. I love the email, guys. If you have not had a chance to look at it, definitely check it out. It was sent out, and it will be posted on our blog. We do have our blog on our website. It's not there yet. When it is, we'll post it for anybody that does not get the email. You guys can see that as well.
And if you're not on the list that you get the emails, we don't spam. We send out 1, 2 emails a week. It's not much at all. If you'd like to sign up for that, it's on the bottom of the homepage.
Yep, absolutely. So that was Apple, guys. Very interesting here. I mean, unexpected stuff. And again, a lot of our biases for this going long, including myself, prevented me from taking a great short. This was an amazing short, and all I saw was looking for a long position, for a long play here. That never came until later on in the morning. Here we had Disney. Disney was just pure chop, guys. Was not clean at all. This looks good here on the 5 minute, but if you look at the 1 minute, we're not going to get into the details. It is brutal. It is a horrible, horrible 1 minute. There's no indication of a great pop here or great drop entry of any type of strategy. So again, just didn't trade well. Later on, mid morning does get pretty nice here, coming above the VWAP, holding this. You got a great pullback, kind of like your confirmation candle that this thing does want to go long here, and it breaks out nicely towards the high of the day. So it does get pretty nice. But again, that first couple of minutes open was brutal. Here's Workhorse. Today, Workhorse already very active. So we'll get into that. That is up 2.1. That'll be on our list. Yesterday was a beautiful short. Now, this was a trade that I did very well on. Amazing short here. Beautiful continuation. And if you were patient enough, this took a while to break from this 24.12 level. Where the price action is actually at now. Nice drop here. Beautiful continuation. So I know a lot of members took advantage of that. They had a great early entry, were patient enough to hold through this. Here's BYND. Here's where I gave everything back on BYND, unfortunately. Turned out to be, looks like it was going to do a good short opportunity here after this drop. Did not, kind of squeezes back up towards my stop here. And looking at it now, you can just see how choppy and how just not clean this thing was, right? So a possible drop here we did not get that. You can see the higher lows coming up here. It does squeeze above the V up and gives you a nice little pop here that does trade very well within this range here. Aside from that, I don't see anything great until later on in the afternoon. Does hold the VWAP nicely here. You do get some drops below it, but look at this great breakout here. So if you're trading late in the day, this could have been a good one there. Here's CCL, another one that also had a nice drop right at the open. A textbook opening range breakdown on the 5 here. I mean, this is just perfect, perfect. We lose our 1470 level. We drop down. We get a nice little pullback here for an entry. And just look at the continuation we got here next, all the way down to our next level, 1420 that we had off our pre-market show. So again, just amazing there. You do get a V bounce right to V up, which is not easy to take. These reversals here are not easy, right? You got the momentum and everything going towards the bottom. To change mindset and look for these opportunities is very difficult. But on the bigger picture, you can see how great this short was, right? Eamon took a short here, and I actually took it long around here while he was still short. You know, he was able to make his play work out, and I was able to get back to VWAP. So interesting how two traders could be in the opposite sides and still both come out profitable in one trade, depending on what your plan is and what your strategy is. Here's Neo. Neo also had a indecision start and then had this just insane drop here. Price action was very volatile on this one. A lot of people took a short on it in the chat room. Great job there. And then you can see here, it just gets a little bit choppy. It does find a way to bounce back up. But for the most part, this move at the open was your move. Very clean, very nice drop here on Neo. Also extremely active today. Up 9.7, 9 million shares. We'll get to that daily chart in a second. That looks really good for today as well. With that said, let's move on to the market pulse. What do we have coming up today?
Yeah, man. So as far as economic data, we had PPI come out this morning, Producer Price Index, gauge of inflation. It came in hotter than expected, 0.4%. Versus 0.2 expected and actually negative 0.2 last month. So that's really the only data that we have today and hasn't done much to the market. We're essentially flat, let's call it, just up on S&P a little bit less than 0.1%. 0.3% up on the QQQ, the NASDAQ. Tech leading the way as far as sectors go, but not up huge. It's kind of flat, frankly. We've got banks reporting. We'll go through some of those, I'm sure, here, either people calling them out or showing up on the gappers list, and that's what we got.
All right, thank you, Norm. Let's get to our gappers list this morning, guys. We have a lot in the green today. We'll get through those and see what looks good there. Let's make some room in our rows over here. Let's start with what's gapping down today. We have a lot less there. Let's start with SRNE. Now, this one's down quite a bit here, 12.7. This stock usually does not trade very well. We had a couple of good days in here where we've had some good pops, but for the most part, it is very choppy stock to trade. It really does not trade all that clean. Today they're down 12.6. Volume is okay, 564. You can see how that is trading. Again, just even with this great volume, as far as numbers, the pre-market doesn't look interesting. I do like the drop. We're getting a great rejection of this 1218. We try to get above several times here. We're not able to, and now a nice drop on it. So worth watching. Maybe not as a main list, but at least as a possible. Today could be a difference maker if we can get some kind of continuation towards the bottom here on this beautiful gap down. AT EC, this is a horrible one. We've seen this one before. It does not trade very well. It is not a low flow stock, but man, it is pretty crappy the way it trades. Look at the volume now. Look at the pre-market. Nothing good here. The daily's all over the place as well. So I'm gonna skip on this one. OCUL, we've seen this one before. Another one that again, it's not a pretty trading stock, that's for sure. They are down 4.3 this morning. Their volume is really light on regular days here. You can see barely getting over that 2 million shares traded per day. They had a couple of days here where they traded very nice 7 million here, but for the most part, not a whole lot of movement here. Also, their spread at the moment is pretty bad, 15 cents here right now. So that's pretty bad for a stock that's sitting at 11 something, even for pre-market. So I wonder how that's going to get when the market opens. But for the most part, it's not a stock that trades very well. And when you see this, here's an indication too that this stock is not a good one. You go into their trading day for yesterday, see these gaps in here? That tells me the spread on this and the volume is horrible. You don't want to trade anything that does that. Because if you take, just 500 shares and this thing is gapping between 10, 15 cents, you're already behind big time on this. So you see gaps like that on a stock, you don't want to be involved with that. Let's look at CNK. This one this morning is down 2.9, 168,000 shares traded right now. This one's been taking a bit of a hit the last couple of weeks here, just really dropping down. Lost this level around 850. Pre-market today. Hold
Would
on,
you want to own a movie theater right now?
no way. No way. Nothing involving
Yeah.
with people gathering together in about a couple of inches away.
I
Strangers
remember
on top of that.
Mark Cuban in the spring went in and dumped a ton into I think it was AMC.
AMC.
He owns a little piece of it or something, and he's
Yeah.
just like, I'm putting all my money in this. We're gonna be back in movie
Mm.
theaters. Yep.
I don't know about that. I really don't. My gym actually opened up and they're fighting for bankruptcy because there's nobody in there. So even if
Yeah.
you open up, doesn't mean you're going to get the volume. Some people are just not ready for that. So this is hurting big time, guys. And you can see here the pre-market action doesn't look great. It's down 3%. Um, really on the fence. I don't think we're going to get anything good from here. I'm going to put it there just as a sympathy play for us, but I don't see anything great here right now. Bank of America, guys. This stock, again, it's just very, very choppy to trade. They are down 2.2 today. And as you mentioned, I think you mentioned some of the banking stuff is active this morning. But for the most part, Bank of America has the most volume. JP Morgan has 80,000. They're slightly red here, not by much. Let's look at West Fargo. It's another one that tends to trade a little bit cleaner. They have a lot more volume this morning, down almost 2%. I do like West Fargo. I'm going to add it as a possible. And the only reason as a possible is because we talked about this yesterday. The banking stocks, just for our style of trading and intraday trading, they don't move well, and Norm went through that yesterday a bit here. So, but we'll add this one. This today could be a difference if we have a difference maker, if we have some kind of catalyst, that can change things a bit here. Let's head to what's gapping up today. We got a couple of low floats here, 1, 2, 3, sitting at 9.7, 7.6, and 2.6. We'll start with this one here at 2.6 EFOI. I'm not getting a 5 minute. Okay, here we go.
Trash.
Oh, this is garbage. Yeah, skip
Yeah.
this. This is nothing good there. Neo is active,
It's got a
guys.
spread too.
Yeah, that's not looking good at all. Neo is pretty good today, guys. We got the break, the pop we were talking about. We didn't get it in the actual intraday trading, it just gapped up. We got it as pre-market. So if we see it here, really nice pop this morning. Great volume, 10 million shares traded already. So definitely in play. This will be a good one today. Let's just hope that it trades clean, right? Usually when you get that type of volume, you might have a very choppy open, but their pre-market action right now looking really good, really strong. Norm, is there any news out there for Neo this morning?
Yeah, they've got at least one upgrade. It's out of JP Morgan with an overweight rating on it. Somebody put up a price target in the room of $40. I don't see a price target. All I see is the rating, but
Yeah,
that's the news for them this
yeah.
morning.
So that's moving very well today for Neo. We'll keep an eye on that one. TLC, this one is
Trash.
looking, yeah, this is treacherous. Let's move on from this. Doesn't look good at all, guys. Just look at that daily. Look at that intraday. Same thing with this one. ENLV, also horrible. It is a low flow stock, but this does not look good at all. GME. So let's take a look at this one. I know that this made some noise last week. And again, their daily got a nice little pop here. We did somewhat consolidated, although this looks horrible compared to like a Neo, right? Look at Neo's consolidation. Let's go back to that. Look how nice this is. That's just beautiful wind up here against that 22 for what is this, about 2-3 weeks here, and then we're getting a beautiful pop this morning on Neo. But looking at GameStop again, it doesn't look as clean. You're up against this area of resistance now. You were able to pop up a few times above that when we had this nice run up with great volume. Pre-market does look horrible though. I don't think this is worth having on our list, not at least our main list, maybe our possibles list. They are up 6.5. I know this is a stock that a lot of people like to watch for a possible play. We'll keep it on here, but right now pre-market is looking pretty bad.
They've got a couple of
BBBY.
catalysts, just as a heads up, kind of conflicting. One thing, positive catalyst is there's a hedge fund announced an 8% stake in GameStop. Negative is they got a downgrade, and it was out of Jefferies, put a hold rating on it and a $13 price target.
All right, so we'll see how that's going to play out today. Here's BBBY. This one has a nice gap.
So let me hop in here. One other point on GameStop. Everybody's talking about the high short float. It did have an extremely high short float. Keep in mind that number is old, and tons of shares have been traded since then. Today is I'm trying to think, that number. I think it would have been from the last trading day of September. I think that number should be out by now. I'm not going to look it up right now, but nevertheless, with all the shares that have traded and that massive push up, you've got those 2 huge days that were obviously a short squeeze. I'm guessing that its short float has come down quite a bit since then.
Yeah, I will agree 100%, especially what happened last week with this pop here and the volume being transacted there. So, and it went even more, guys. It popped up. Don't look at this. Look at this too. I mean, this thing almost hit 15, and look at the volume that you had there. So, how many people jumped out of this as well? So, let's keep an eye on that. We'll keep a note of that, and let's see what that flow number is going to come in next week whenever they post or updated. Here's BBBY, guys. They have a nice pop today, up 5.7. Not a whole lot of volume, 123 only at the moment. But interesting. Any news on BBBY? I know, was this one with a high? Yeah, this is another one too, Norm, that has a very, very high short interest here at 70, which I'm sure.
Yeah, they're selling off some assets. Christmas tree shops. I didn't know they owned that, but they're selling off a few subsidiaries they have. So.
Okay.
Yep.
So this one here, guys, popping up pretty nice today. Pre-market volume is not great, but I do like the pop this morning. Again, they had a massive short interest as well. I wonder that's going to be lower, obviously, but I wonder if there's still anybody in there thinking this thing can drop and create a possible squeeze. Who knows? So we'll keep it on here, guys. Up 5.7. Okay, volume 123, but horrible pre-market action. JMIA. Now, this one I took off my list. This is the one that could be a hit or miss. I just want to take a quick look on what we had here yesterday. Oh, this is brutal. This is why we take this stuff off. Just look at this chart. This is a 5-minute, guys. I mean, this is really crappy trading here. So with that said, I'm not inclined to keep this one on here. This one had a good day here. This was on the 12, right? Seemed nice. Still not great at the open here. Looks like it got a little bit better. But for the most part, not the cleanest trading stock. Their pre-market action is really crappy. What's keeping me talking about it still is this daily, though. This daily does look interesting. Possible continuation breakout towards this 1495 here. Aside from that, I'm not seeing anything great. Let's throw it as a possible. It might not even stay there as we fine tune that list. All right, I'm going to stop here. We got a couple of other ones on there that just looking at the names might not even look all that great. I know JKS is horrible. CUK is not great. Play is this one is Dave & Buster's, I believe. They're also not looking great. So we'll stop here and see what you guys have this morning. Norm, anything on your list so far?
I was just gonna say, did you look at CCL? I'm curious because it's odd to see Cuck on there and not see CCL.
Yeah, CCL. It's funny. CCL doesn't have great volume for us to have CUK on here. Very interesting. But CCL,
it's usually the other way around. It's usually CCL that has the volume.
Yeah. But they're going to be coming out here pretty soon once they get above 2%. Their pre-market action, again, I'm not seeing anything great. We're used to seeing a whole lot of volume from these guys. Their daily, though, is bouncing off
It's
this
nothing.
14, where we saw support there in the past. So I wonder if there's anything happening there. Quick possible. We just come
So
back to take a look at
one I've
that.
been watching is IDXG. It's a low float,
IDXG. Low flow. Okay. ID.
4.9 million shares. I might keep an eye on this one for fun.
Now, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is a type of action you want to see on a low flow stock. You want to see movement and you want to see
A ton of
volume.
volume.
Ton of volume. I mean, these other ones over here, EFOI, this is horrible. You do not want to be looking at this low flow at all. Like Norm
That's
says, not even with a 10-foot pole, you want to be touching this. All right, let's take a look at what do you guys have this morning. Let's start with Fabio from Italy. We have Roku. What do we have here? Roku. Yeah, Roku, great day yesterday. I actually did not look at Roku yesterday. It's like every time I don't watch it, it trades extremely well. I mean, just look at this pop. Possible continuation today, but it's pretty flat right now, and the volume is really low, which is typical Roku stuff. But looking at this list, I don't mind making space for Roku today. Let's take what do we have next here? LI?
Man, I got to tell you, yesterday, I'm
Yeah.
so pissed at myself. Yesterday, um, I was going to watch Roku and I took it off my list. I had a bad day trading Apple myself. What's funny is
Mhm.
I was trading Apple poorly and I had the room muted. I wasn't even listening. And then I talked to Andrew like an hour or so later. I was like, oh man, my day wasn't like that, but it wasn't great.
Right, right.
I had Roku on my list, and the reason was it was this. I had a thought it would be a sleeper because Disney had come out and said they were going to focus, like their main focus was going to be on streaming.
Yeah.
Well, Disney's the obvious play there, but what does that show? Who's going to benefit from more streaming? Roku,
Yeah.
and I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
One of those.
I agree. And for those that don't know, Roku is a provider of streaming services, right? So they have Netflix, they have Disney, have all this stuff on their
It's
little.
also a provider of sleeper trades.
Yes, sleeper trades, absolutely. So that's a big news for them. Anything with these streaming companies doing well, man. How did we miss that? That was not good there. But great day yesterday. Possible continuation today, guys. This stock is continues to break new highs on a regular basis there. So we'll keep an eye on it today. Let's see if we have some juice left in here. The fun might be over for now on this stock because the trade is so great yesterday. It's a little bit extended here. We might go into another consolidation like this stock always does, pops up, consolidates. But let's see if we get one of these like we did here, right? We had a nice big pop up and a little bit of continuation the following day. The key here is going to be patience. Wait for the setup. Do not expect that from the gates it's just going to start breaking up and making new all-time highs there. All right, let's take a look down at LI. We looked at this one. Guys, I'm not seeing anything
I
all that
hate this
great
stock,
on
man.
this one. It doesn't trade well. Yeah, I don't like the stock neither. Again, it's just not a great intraday trading stock. So I know the numbers. If you look at the stats, it looks great, up 4.4, 473. And even the pre-market is not that bad. But if you look at the stock, the way it trades with the price action, you're going to find it's not the best trading stock. Here is Tesla. They have we were talking about Tesla in our chat room earlier today with some of the members. Man, they have a really good daily here. Also, if you look at the 15-minute chart, we're talking about that. You can see the resistance right up against that. They actually went above that. So hopefully they can hold here. They can be really nice. But their daily showing some good potential here. A lot of room to run. Tesla's not an easy stock to trade, but I love what I'm seeing on the daily here. I'm going to add it this morning. Up just 1%, 668 right now. Let's take a look at X. This is a low flow one, XELB. Yeah, I appreciate that. If you put low flow on there, that helps us out. So low flow stock here, but it's more of a penny stock though. Yes, it is a low flow, but it's a penny stock, which again, when they're trading at below $1 like this, you want to be very careful. I don't like what I'm seeing here. Yes, you have volume. Yes, you have up 25%, but anything that's trading at 80 cents, 50 cents, trying to break out of $1, there's so much manipulation stuff that's happening there. I'm gonna stay away from this one really. OC OCX. Let's take a look at
OCX
OCX.
has got good moves. I mean, it's
Yeah.
essentially a penny stock too, but
Yeah, it is. It looks better pre-market wise, I have to say. But you know what? It's something about when they start breaking out of $1. below $1, they just trade very, very different. This one actually has been
Hmm.
up quite a bit. It is above $1 already for a couple of days, right? I'm not saying that this could have been a penny. There's just something different about that, at least for me. Yeah, this one looks good as a low flow stock. Good volume, possible pop here as well. So OCX, we'll add that onto the list. Again, guys, these two here are for our low flow team. Be very, very careful. If you have no experience trading low floats, do not just go in there attempting strategies that work great on mid flow stocks, right? That's very, very important. So practice them in sim. And if you feel the need, just try it like 20 shares, 50 shares, very, very low. So you're not hurting yourself and your account. All right,
People
let's look.
make fun of me because I rag on low floats so hard, and I've traded a few recently and talked about it. But I
Yeah.
want to emphasize one thing, guys. Any trade I'm taking on anything like that, literally, if the stock price went to zero, I wouldn't think twice about it. That's how small of a share size it is.
Yeah, but that's important. That's important. That's the key there. Protect yourself from the risk and possible
And don't ever let it
worst
go against
slippage.
you.
Yeah, and worst slippage as possible, right? And this is not one of those stocks we want to be averaging down or bag holding. I mean, it will hurt you big time. WKHS, excuse me. This one's up 1.1 million shares traded, very active, traded very well towards the downside yesterday. We have a very similar pre-market action as we did yesterday. It was a green, then went red. Here we're red and we're going green. I think it's worth watching. This stock has been trading well at the open. Again, today's pre-market not as great as yesterday, but let's keep it on here. Let's see if we're going to get a bounce from this area where we saw a bounce yesterday and a couple of days before that in the past. Thank you for that one. All right, let's pick a few more here. Piton. Piton continues to just
Someday
grow.
this is going to stop going up, right?
It has to.
It might be at $500. I don't know, but
Uh, it really has to. I mean, this thing is just grinding slowly, just kind of making new highs here. Pre-market doesn't look great, looks horrible. We are barely up. We're pretty much flat right now. This is kind of like one of those sleeper stocks. You got to be very careful in this one and patient. You got to be very patient, right? This thing is very extended. It's due for a pullback any minute. Who knows when that's going to happen? Just be mindful of that, right? No FOMO in this type of trade. You cannot have FOMO. The big move as far as daily has been done. So don't look at this expecting it's going to continue to do that and plan that way. Look at what's happening with the price action and trade your status there, your trade book. Um, right now, I don't know what to think about it. I mean, I don't want to put it on here and be looking at that daily chart and feeling FOMO for not taking a swing trade on this, but we'll put that as a possible for now. We'll see. Um, all right, let's see what we have here. All right, guys, I have to stop here because
I had to
we're,
even bring up Apple this morning, but they just got a
Apple.
downgrade.
Apple.
Downgraded on Credit Suisse. They maintain a neutral rating and they raise their price target to 106. It's one of the most baffling things. That's like a 15% drop from here, a little bit
Right.
less, obviously.
Yep.
But
Yep.
why are you neutral on something if you think it's going to drop 15%? It makes zero sense.
Doesn't make any sense. That's I don't get it. Apple, guys, again, every day 1.5 and better pre-market. It's starting to be just the normal value for them. I don't even look at this as like crazy pre-market action anymore. The way they've been trading at the open is where you have to really be careful. They had a couple of days where they've been very choppy. Yesterday, obviously, was an amazing short, although a lot of us had a bias this thing was going to go long. Um, let's see what happens. I think it's worth adding. Let's see how it's going to trade in the next couple of days after their event yesterday. They had a big drop yesterday. They're at the level overall. They're at the level of back of support from a couple of days ago, right? So can we find support here in this previous day close? It's 121. It looks good. Are we going to bounce from here or continue to drop towards this 118, 116 area? All right, we have a good one today, guys. Let's look at some of the stuff on YouTube here. SPCE space. Space, not looking good. I don't like it. I see what you're looking at. The daily has 3 days red, one big day yesterday. Possible continuation here if we can get going. My issue with space, it has been so choppy the last couple of times I looked at it. So that's one of my things where it looked like it traded well yesterday and the day before. So could be a good one. You know what? I'm gonna put it on here for now on the main list. We'll come back to it and see what else is on there. Let's take a look at Plug. Plug has been trading well as well over the last couple of days. Right now, it looks like we're getting to a choppy area now. We had a nice little run here every day here. At the morning, we're breaking up breaking the pre-market high and getting a great continuation. Then we have this beautiful drops here, area of resistance around 1911. Great rejection there. The last couple of days, again, just hasn't been trading all that clean. So pre-market right now does look decent. Not as much volume though, only 225 right now. This stock trades heavily on volume, so that's a little bit concerning. Pretty flat. I'm not going to add it right now, but I will be looking for this in our scanners. If we can get some volume here, that could be better for us there. And then let's look at Tesla. We have on our list already, guys. Grubhub. Grubhub does not trade well, guys. It's a stock that's horrible for intraday trading. Has a nice pop today, 4.8, 33%. But their intraday trades are brutal. So I won't be watching this one. Mdrx. I see a couple of people throwing that one out. Mdrx, this one's pre-market, looks interesting, up 33%. We are 944. What's the float on this one? I think we looked at this before.
Small.
Mdrx.
I saw this one. It's not small.
Yeah, it's not small. I hate the
I didn't like the pre-market, frankly. It's it's just nondescript to me, but maybe somebody else likes it.
And the daily too is pretty brutal. I don't like this daily at all, guys. Volume is, again, they got great volume today. Today they have the pre-market so far. They have as much volume as I trade on any given day here. See, the volume is under 1 million, 1.5. Some of them sitting at right at 900 where they're at now. So I don't like that. I don't like the daily. Like you mentioned too. The pre-market, it looks okay, but not great. If that. I'm not gonna add this one today, guys. All right, that is what we have. Let's take a look at one more. Let's look at Netflix. I want to see what's happening with Netflix. Like we mentioned, Disney, right, streaming. Well, how is that affecting Netflix? Netflix is actually hitting not all-time highs, excuse me. Yeah, all-time highs. I think it's this one here. Say it again.
Oh, it took a second. I think the screen froze for me in the room.
Oh, okay. So yeah, guys. So here, Netflix, okay, had a good day yesterday, along with Roku and some other stocks. It's funny, other stocks had great pop here yesterday, except Disney. Disney was worse, and that's the one with the actual news. So interesting. All right, guys, let's go to our to our community announcements. We'll come back and fine tune this list.
Yeah, guys, first of all, thank you for joining us on YouTube. We've got a lot of people that come in every single day. If you enjoy the content, we really appreciate hitting the like button. Helps us out with the algorithms on YouTube. So if you do that, sincerely appreciate it. Tonight, 8 p.m., we've got a success webinar with Mike, Fundamentals of Risk Management and Risk Controls. Mike's going to go through the most important, single most important aspect of trading tonight, 8 p.m. webinar room. Next week, Dr. Kenneth Reed will be talking about traders over 50 and changes to mind and capabilities and supplements and things you can do to help keep yourself mentally fit and quick when you start gaining in the age department. I'm so careful with this one, man. I don't want the hate mail. I get enough for other things I say. So I apologize if I phrase something incorrectly. No disrespect. I'm not far from this myself.
I'm so glad to do announcements.
God. All right. Next slide. Run. Get away from it. Screen is frozen for me, so I don't know if you've changed it or not.
Yeah, we're on to the next one.
All right. Last night we had Creta talking about busting common mind traps, how faulty thinking leads to messing up trades. That should be posted soon in the psychology area. Then next week, we're Mike's module 4. That's the normal 8 p.m. time, module 4, talking about mindfulness during trading. Guys, we're giving a top-of-the-line iPhone away each and every week for our trade of the week. In order to enter that, you've got to order and win the trade of the day to start out with. So take a screenshot of your best trade of that day. Mark it up with entries, exits, ideas, strategies, why you took the trade, why you got out of it. P&L is not important on it. We all trade different size accounts and everything else. It's the quality of the trade. Tag at Bearable Traders, at Mike B_BBT, and at NormBBT. Use hashtags BBT Family, Day Trading, and Stock Market when you put it on Twitter. That way we can find it. We will choose winner for the day. That'll be announced every afternoon in the closing bell show. And then the team as a whole will vote during the week, over the weekend, for the best trade of the week. That will be, it will be the iPhone 12 whatever it is. We'll tell you what it is when we change it. But I mean, when it's available, it's not. You can't order the thing yet. But as soon as you can order it, yes, it will be the latest iPhone. It won't be the 11 anymore. It'll be the equivalent to what we're giving out now once it's available. Winner will be announced on the Monday Closing Bell show and on Twitter. We are not going to give you a charging cable though. But you have to share a couple of things, trade book and recap, and that will get you the iPhone with no charging cable. We Guys, very important here. This weekend is Traders for a Cause. Usually this is a conference that takes place in Vegas. Last year, it's a great charity. They give to a number of charities on behalf of traders and the trading community. We are a part of it for a second year in a row. And we upped our donation this year on behalf of the community. If anybody wants to donate, it's a great cause, deductible charity. So you can look up Traders for a Cause, donate there. Andrew will be speaking 10:55 to 11:10 a.m. Eastern time on Saturday. And there's a number of traders. It's not just Andrew, but you can tune into that event. Check out their website to do so. If you are watching us on YouTube and haven't been in the room and you'd like to do so, you can try it out for a week at a discount. Use the promo code premarket24. It'll give you 7 calendar days, five trading days, including access to the Monday night onboarding class. Doesn't auto renew or turn into any other kind of membership.
All right, thank you, Norm. So yeah, we are dying over here with the no charger situation on the iPhone. This is great. All right, guys. Let's get to it. Our list today, SRNE. Let's scan through it. Was SRNE on our list? No, this was not on there. Was it? Yeah, it was gapping down. So SRNE was down today, quite a bit, 9.7. Pre-market's okay. I like the drop. I'm not sure. We'll come back to that one. Neo is great. We're gonna keep this one on here. 12 million right now. As far as volume, that looks amazing. A great breakout out of this daily. So I love what I'm seeing there. Roku is starting to get a little active here as well. Only 58,000, but that's a lot for Roku in the pre-market. So I like what I'm seeing there on Roku. Tesla, possible breakout on the daily. Not the best trading stock. Again, we'll keep that in mind as we get into the open. Workhorse looking even better now. Holding here. Let's see if we got some juice to continue towards the upside. Apple, again, amazing volume. We'll see how this is going to play out today. And then we have Space. Space is not looking all that great still. So I'm going to remove Space. Has potential on the daily. If it can get going, give us another one of these days here. But it hasn't done that the last couple of days as far as a breakout, right? So for example, you popped up here, you came back down. You popped up here, you did pop up, but not as much. And then you're popping up again here. Are we going to chop around or get one of these continuation plays? So again, I'm not seeing that happening based on what the information we have just yet. So I'm going to move it down, delete it from our main list. All right, let's do levels here. So SRNE at the moment, the highs and lows are covering you towards the top over here. Even your pre-market high, very close to the low of 2 days ago, right in this area there, right? 11. This is at 1103. So I'm not going to mark that. This is probably more important than the pre-market high itself. Also, you don't have a lot of volume in this pre-market here. So you don't want to put too much weight on this. This would be better as far as the daily and the level. Then towards the bottom, we do have our low of our pre-market sitting at 1035. I'm going to mark that down. I like the fact this has some more confirmation on the daily as well across the board there. A couple of days touching that. Next, we do have 983 towards the bottom. A couple of days got resistance here and nice support there on this daily as well. So 2 good levels towards the bottom, couple towards the top there. Pre-market bouncing nicely off our pre-market low here. Let's see if we're going to get some continuation. We got great volume. Pre-market's not looking great from 620 to 830. Hopefully starts getting better here as more volume starts piling in and being consistent there. Neo is amazing pre-market right now. High of the pre-market sitting at 2394. This is a very strong pre-market, guys, because we tested a couple of times here already. 730. I'm not going to put too much weight on this one, but you got a tinfoil line, what Thor wants to call this here. And we also have another test here at 850. We might be coming back up again. So again, that pre-market, if we don't break that by the time we get to the market open, that's going to be a very strong level we want to keep an eye on for a possible breakout. Now, towards the bottom, guys, you're not getting another support level all the way until 2258. Have we been up here before? We have not. We're breaking all-time highs in some pretty good fashion here. So What I want to do is I want to look at this 5 minute. Let's see if we find some areas where we're seeing a lot of touches to get some support resistance. 23.63. That's a good one. Look at the resistance here. Look at the support. And then towards the bottom here, we got a couple of touches over at 23.21. So I think that gives you some good levels to have within your intraday play here. If you're looking at the 5 minute, you got some levels you can go off that have a couple of touches already in the pre-market. Amazing pre-market at 12 million shares traded already. It looks like it's setting up for another test of that 23.94 might be breaking out this time. We'll see. Let's see how the volume is coming into that level of resistance there. Here's Roku. We're starting to break down a little bit here, which is expected. Had a big day yesterday. Pre-market low right now being tested once again at 237.50. We have a couple of touches there early on around 8:30. Another one just now. So we're getting into further into the pre-market action. And then on your daily, if you look down, you really have no other levels down here. Now, this is all-time high we broke yesterday, and this pre-market might be, I think making it, this pre-market 240 might be the all-time high now. You don't have any daily levels on this gap here. Looking at our 5 minute from yesterday, you're not going to find a great level here because this thing just rocketed up. It didn't give you any touches, right? There was not like some double tops being formed, some support maybe here. You got a little bit of support and resistance at 230. Yeah, 230 makes sense, close to that whole dollar number. That's about it. There's really nothing clean here with a lot of touches like you see at 230. Look at the resistance, and then that resistance becomes support. That's great support there before after you get this beautiful breakout when the volume starts coming in, right? So that's great there. Aside from that, I don't see anything else. So that's Roku for us today. Let's see how that's going to play out. Here is Tesla. Tesla has great volume, 824. Man, their pre-market action just gets worse. It was better earlier. It's just getting worse and worse. Very, very choppy. I might not keep this on my list. On top of that, this stock doesn't trade all that clean. High of the pre-market, 452.01. Let's go back here and look at some of these other levels we have here, 455.85 and also 460.12, 461.12. We'll mark that on there, but I don't like the way this pre-market action looks right now, guys. I'm probably going to take this off. Here's Workhorse. So Workhorse went red to green during the pre-market. New pre-market high sitting at 24.42. So let's throw that on there. And then above that, we do have a level here at 25.11. That's a great one. A couple of days using it as resistance, and then you got some good support happening there as well on Workhorse. Then above that, the highs and lows from the last two trading days. Towards the bottom, previous day close, a major area of support. You can see the resistance happening here at that previous day close line, and also great support for the last 3 weeks. Right on, you can see how many days are bouncing off that previous day close line, and then below that you do have your pre-market low right at 23.05. Apple, let's take a look at here. So this was a disaster for a lot of us yesterday. I did not trade it, but my buys prevented me from taking a short trade, looking for the long. That never came at the market open. So here's a low of the pre-market sitting at 120.06, and then above that you do have the previous day close. We have 121.05 here. I'm going to remove this because we don't need this here now. Let's make this the high of the pre-market over at 122.57. Your previous day close line there is taking care of that level that we're kind of flirting with back and forth on, right? Above that, highs from the last two trading days, our pre-market high, 120, yeah, 122.57, that's on there. Above that, we got some other levels based on our the daily when we had this pop over here, 127.32, 128.85, and 131 are all still great levels. I don't think we'll get there today, but you have those just in case. And then towards the bottom, below your pre-market low, you have the low from the last two trading days. So plenty of levels on Apple, guys. Again, great volume right now, 2.2 million. Just be careful at the open. Let's see if this thing is going to trend well or if it's going to be choppy today before you make a trade. Just make sure you look at your trade book and making sure that it makes sense in the trade you're taking there. All right, space, nothing happening here, guys. I'm going to remove it. Pre-market is horrible. There's our secondary list here. The banking stocks, again, West Fargo looks interesting. I like this drop here. We talk about banks, they don't trade very well, but I like this one. I'm going to put a pre-market low here, 24.22. Above that, we do have our highs and lows from the last two trading days. And then towards the bottom here, I love this area of support here around 23.70. And you got this one here, 23.11. So we'll see. We'll see what we can get out of it. I have it as the top possible today. I don't have space for it in my main list, but we have it here just in case. CNK, I mean, I know this thing has bad news, but it's just not a great stock. I'm going to get rid of it. GMK, also the pre-market action, it's not great. Their daily has some potential here. I know some people are going to be watching this one, so I'm going to remove it from my end. If you guys see something great in the chat room, call it out. I'll be looking out for that. BBBY, I know it has a really bad pre-market action, but I do like the daily pop here with the breakout out of 22. Very similar to Neo. You had this great consolidation over 2 weeks, and now you're gapping up, 6%. So worth watching. High of the pre-market 23.94, towards the bottom, the low of the pre-market 23.26, and you just have a bunch of crap in between that. Nothing clean at this moment. JMIA, again, this one, it's just a hit or miss. I'm not gonna watch it today. CCL starting to pile on some volume, 460 right now. Pre-market action still not great. I'm gonna remove it, guys. I don't see anything good happening there. Peloton, also their pre-market action is horrible. Their daily is amazing. I would not be surprised if this thing finds a way before the bell to be green, to put in another green day on this beautiful stretch they have going here. They have one red day, and it's funny, this red day is on a gap up. They still don't make a new low from the day before, right? So this is still very strong to me, the way I'm looking at this Peloton here. So we'll keep it on here, but as far as intraday play and moving up to the main list, I don't see anything great off of it. All right, that is what we have. Let's take a look at our moderators lineup.
I'm
Let's
like an
start.
HYLN. Have you pulled that one up?
Which one?
HYLN. I've had it here for a few minutes watching it, and it's just been on a I want to see a pullback before I get into it, but the daily, it could have a ways to
HLYM?
go. HYLN.
Oh, HYLN. Got it. Oh, this is nice. I like the pop we're getting here. Good volume coming in. Any news on it? This looks good.
Yeah, I think they had a hedge fund that announced they can that they've taken a stake.
All right, no, yeah, this is good. Is it recent IPO? Yeah, recent IPO. But yeah, this is good, especially with that type of catalyst.
It's not really. It is, but it's not. This is a SPAC, so it's just essentially changed tickers.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, okay. So you got to
So
be
it's
careful with it.
newly
Yeah.
public, but technically
Yep.
not a not an IPO.
Mm. Gotcha. Thanks for that info. So keep an eye on that, guys. But I like the pre-market now with the volume coming in, and I like the fact that we're bouncing here as well. So that could create some movement for us. All right, let's take a look at our moderators lineup. We do have John. He has Baba, Zoom, Netflix, and Roku. Peter has AMD and Neo, and secondary list he has Apple. Tiffany has Neo and Workhorse, two really good ones. Neo is amazing today, 13 million right now, up 11%. Thor, and then I'm sorry, then she has as a secondary Tesla and Apple. And then Thor has Neo, RCL, GS, CCL, GCG, and also AMD. Mike has his scanners as well as Baba and Apple. And Brian is looking at Neo, JKS, SRNE, SPLK, and EFOI for fun. So be careful with that one. Low flow stock sitting at 2.6 million. Brian, we missed your fun for fun yesterday. We didn't get one. Jared, Neo, he's watching HYLN. We just talked about that one. He's watching Plug and EVAL as well. Oh no, sorry, EV vehicles. Excuse me, EV vehicles and that space. And then he's watching MJ, ETF, and candidates, possible candidates there. So, all right, good list, guys. I think we have a nice one for today. Trade safe. We will continue here in the chat room as Brian and Andrew come on and walk us through the open live. Thank you on YouTube for joining us, guys. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. And we will see you tonight in the Success webinar, or we'll see you tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Take care, guys.
Take care, guys. Trade safe.